What is a definition query? At the heart of it all, a definition query is a way to filter features or rows in a layer based on a set of criteria. Let's take a look. Over on the left hand side we have 5 rows from an original dataset, and on the right we have filtered out 3 rows. These rows were filtered out based on specific criteria. In this instance, where the attribute was equal to A. If we think of that in terms of geospatial features in a map, for this example we'll use points. Over on the left hand side we have 5 original points, and over on the right hand side we're only displaying 3 points, as the other 2 points have been removed because they do not satisfy the criteria of the definition query filter. A definition query allows you to define a query expression that restricts which features are visible in the map or attribute table. By using a definition query, we can customize our map displays. This enables the user to display and focus on specific subsets of the data. By applying the filter using a definition query, we are not physically altering the original dataset. Let's take a look at an example in ArcGIS Pro. Here we are in the ArcPy definition query APRX. You do not need to open this APRX, you can simply just watch the video and take in the information. The current map displays the county boundaries layer. If I right click and go into Properties and into the Definition Query tab on the left, we can see there are currently no definition queries defined. If we click on New Definition Query, we can use drop downs to create an SQL statement and define criteria for our filter. From the Select the Field drop down, I'm going to select County, and we can see now that we have an operators drop down. The default is equal to. If we drop down, we can see a selection of others. We'll leave it at is equal to for now, and we want it to equal Kildare. I'll just move this layer properties dialog window up a bit. I'll click apply to save the expression. And when I click apply here, we are going to see the map change and the filter kick into action. I'll click OK to exit the layer properties. You can see we only have Kildare in our map. On the right hand side, I'm going to right click on county boundaries and go to attribute table. And we can see we only have one entry, Kildare. Over on the right hand side, I'm going to go to our databases and into our ArcPy definition query geodatabase. And here we have our Tolch BMA county boundaries polygon feature class. And this is the feature class that the county boundaries layer is pointing to. If I go back over to county boundaries and right click and go to properties and into source, we can see that this is the feature class. Click OK. Back over to catalog, and right click on the feature class and select open table. And we can see that our 4 features are present in the dataset, but they are filtered in the layer in the map. If we go back into the county boundaries properties and into the definition query tab, we can do a couple of things here. We can delete the definition query, or we can turn it off and click apply. We can see the background changing and that we now have the 4 features present in our attribute table for county boundaries. And we can also delete the definition query. Click OK, clear the selection, and I'll close the tables. In this video we discussed what a definition query is. In essence, it is a filter applied to our data to limit what is displayed on our map and in our attribute table. A definition query does not alter the original data set in a geodatabase. In this video, we will take a look at some reasons as to why you should use a definition query. A definition query helps you focus on the specific information you're interested in. It is like using a magnifying glass to zoom in on a particular aspect of the data without changing the original dataset. This can make the data easier to understand, analyze, and present information without feeling overwhelmed by too much data all at once. A definition query prevents the need to clip data from the original source. Clipping data will create a new feature class. This feature class now sits separately from the original source. If you edit the original source, add data, delete data, update data, this will not be reflected in the clipped feature class. Using a definition query can help with data exploration, especially when dealing with large datasets. Definition queries allow you to explore and analyze specific subsets of data without the need to create multiple copies of the dataset or alter the original data. When using geoprocessing tools in ArcGIS Pro, the geoprocessing tool will honor the definition query and it will not perform the process on the entire dataset unless you specifically tell it to do so. This also applies with spatial analysis. When conducting spatial analysis, you may need to isolate certain features based on their spatial or attribute characteristics. Definition queries will help you to focus on specific spatial patterns or relationships. Definition query applied also helps with presenting data to different audiences. You can use different definition queries to tailor the information displayed in maps or charts to suit the interests or needs of specific viewers. These are just a handful of reasons of why you would use a definition query. Others might include workflow efficiency, to reduce the amount of data you need to work with at any given time, temporary modifications if you only need to view or analyze a subset of your data temporarily. As I've mentioned several times, definition queries provide a non-destructive way to achieve this without permanently altering the underlying dataset. Although we will mainly focus on simple definition queries, you can apply complex queries involving multiple conditions. You can use logical operators and parentheses in the query expression to create sophisticated filters.